And hello and welcome back to Stager Insights. Today we have our guest Sandy Blue with us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, we're great. Good. I'm glad that you could join us. So tell us something about you, Sandy.
Sure. I live in Abbotsford, BC, which is just about 45 minutes east of Vancouver. So I do a lot of interior design work and paint color consultation, and in the last number of years, staging for the entire Lower Mainland. And now with CSP, I feel like I've really got the tools I need to help me take it up to the next level.
Well, that's awesome. So what's the marketplace like where you are?
Oh my goodness, stuff is selling like in a minute and way over list and all kinds of things going on in a really, really hot market.
So are you finding that real estate agents are saying, we don't need to stage?
You know what? I find it's two things. One saying, we know we can do even better if we do stage, and others just going, like, I don't even have time to think about this, right? It's just, if it's something that's new to them, it really takes building the relationships to make sure that they understand that there's good value there, and that, you know, it's still going to sell in a minute when it lists, but it can list in far better shape and get far more money for the seller than it would otherwise. So,
you know, I think that is the biggest insight that real estate agents are needing, in that this process that we perform, our services, are to help the seller get the most money, as opposed to just getting the house sold. Of course, it's going to sell in a hot market, but the most money is what the seller is, I would think, most interested in.
Yes, I would think so. And I've certainly found that. And you know, from the sellers as well, sometimes when, like, they've made the decision to sell, but sometimes once their home is staged, they're like, hold on a minute, maybe I don't really want to sell, because they just haven't viewed their home in the same way. And it just looks fresh and new for them as well. So.
Right, which of course, if you were a real estate agent, you had worked really hard at building your brand and getting a listing, that would be a fear, false evidence appearing real, that
Yes.
Is very prevalent for them, and you can understand it. But I think what happens is, yes, the seller's eyes are opened in terms of how they can live differently in space. And we know that statistics say like 90% of people can't visualize space. So we're not surprised when that happens, but you can still help them move on with their life and help them in their new place.
Yes, I think that's the thing that's the most happens most often, is they now understand that they view all properties they're looking at with different eyes than they did.
Yes.
You know, it's a very different way of looking at things, and understanding that it can be different than it is. I think it's just really important for people to understand that that's possible.
So give some stager insight in terms of what you're seeing that's helping and amplifying your success in your marketplace.
I think one of the things that I've heard feedback from my own working with clients is that I listen to what it is that they, you know, like the stuff that they love, or the, you know, something. So they feel like I'm trustworthy. You know, it's something they're not thinking about, who is this coming in and you know, giving, you know, casting aspersions on how I live or whatever. But just really understanding it's not about that at all. It's really about getting their home ready for sale, and they've made the decision to sell already. And so being really respectful of the relationship with that seller, and understanding that we're helping them to move on to the next stage as well. So they're not fearful of someone they don't even know coming into their home.
And did the training that you received from the CSP Academy, did that help you in any way? Because I know you had a business background before you came to us, right?
Yes, it helped a great deal, because I think one of the things is having the language and the tools and the resources that, and in some cases, something as simple as a script, understanding what to say to overcome objections when people say, you know, I don't want to paint, or I'm absolutely not changing my flooring, or, you know, this is fine the way it is, to understand how to overcome those objections and to do it confidently. And, you know, with the backup of the training and with the certification, it's something that is respected. People just, even if they don't really know what it is, they go, oh, this person has certification, and it helps in that way. But certainly for myself, having the tools, you know, instinctually or instinctively rather, a lot of this makes great sense to me. It's things I have done in the past, but having this proven formula of, you know, what to do and how to say things and how to really maximize profits for your own business, and, you know, maximizing leveraging for the sellers is it's a winning combination. And I know you've been at it for 20 years or more. And so for me, being able to tap into that and learn about that has been just fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Believe me, our industry has struggled with pricing. It's not, to me, it isn't about pricing. It's about getting people to understand the value. Why would I pay for this service? And there's some things that we buy almost unconsciously and pay top dollar for in our lives without question. But when it comes to such a valuable service, like you and I know it is, having that seller and real estate agent in particular understand that value is sometimes the issue with a stager, being able to get the price that they're worth. And that's a perpetual challenge. And I'm sure for real estate agents themselves, you know, when a seller says, no, I'm not willing to pay 6%, will you do it for less? It ripples down the chain, as it were, right? And knowing how to be able to overcome that is, and stand by your value is really important, I think, anyway. Do you have anything in particular that you would like to share with stagers who, or people who in general are thinking about getting into the staging industry?
Yes, I think, you know, I was talking to a young woman the other day who was visiting BC from Ontario, and she had heard about this through her sister-in-law that I know. And she had said, you know, I'm interested, can you tell me some more? And so I was explaining to her a little bit about the process and about the value and the benefits that I had received, and trying to understand a bit about where she was at in terms of thinking about this. And she said, I'm not interested in decorating. I'm interested in making sure that the solid elements, the flooring and the walls and the lighting and the textures and all of the things that layer up make sense. And I'm like, well, that's exactly what this is about. This is not about making things pretty. And so learning these steps, the steps about how to, you know, how to go through this process so that it benefits the seller, they're going to achieve the most income that they can out of the sale of their home, is really what it's about. So I explained a bit to her about that. And she said, well, did you already know how to do this? I said, well, it's a passion of mine. It's something I've always done to make things function better, or, you know, looking better is sort of the thing you do at the end, but making it function and flow, and so it totally makes sense, is somewhere that I was always thinking about. But now that I have this, I would encourage anybody who's thinking about it to really, you know, explore the website, take a look. There's a lot of good information on there about the courses, the training, and the benefits that you'll receive. And I think it's worth every single penny. It was a lot of hard work going through it. The classwork was hard, especially we did it in COVID times, so we were doing it virtually. But it's really fantastic. It has just given me just a set of tools and resources that I use every single day.
Well, that is really good feedback. Thank you. I found, I'll be honest, you know, when COVID hit and I was sort of forced to go virtually with the training, I was talking to somebody today and I said, I think first of all, we held our breath and we were going to go back to normal. And then there's a point where we realized we're not going back to normal. This is normal now. And everybody's pivoting their business. What I found in particular with teaching the class virtually or remotely, I like to think of it, because there's nothing fake about it. But for sure, I'm able to delve deeper into people's questions and concerns, as well as give more information. And I found with the coaching after class, it's been really insightful in terms of where people are going with that. And then being able to actually individually measure people's skills and give valuable feedback on that is a crucial aspect of
it. Is, and just on the coaching as well with the follow-up sessions, you know, it's something that sometimes I'll come to a session not thinking that I have a question. I'm just coming to, refresh and pick up information. But then a question will arise because you never really know what's going to happen, what the subject matter is, or what someone else might be curious about, and being able to share that within this community so that people are learning and helping each other, I think is a really, really good resource. Because with any small business owner, the tendency is to feel like you're out there on your own, the only one who's experiencing whatever this thing is, or the only one having this challenge and what to do about it. We're able to pose those questions and say, hey, has anybody, really had some success in overcoming whatever this business challenge
was?
Very helpful.
That stager last week who shared, she'd lost a $30,000 job as a result of a team member not being vaccinated, and what we've done to help prevent those things happening in the future, I think is invaluable. But as people, my girlfriend always says to me, CSP is the closest kept secret, and you need to get out there and share the information. But we're trying. Is there anything that you would like to say in closing in terms of encouragement to either a new stager or to someone who's thinking about getting into the staging industry?
Yeah, I think, really, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, but really just understanding that this isn't about decorating, but about maximizing value for sellers. Really understanding that I'm in the real estate business was quite a revelation to me. I knew who was in my realm, and I knew who I was speaking with and who I was working with, but I hadn't really thought about it in terms of the real estate industry. And if you're thinking about what's the hottest industry these days, real estate is going to be among them. The fact that you have the opportunity to come in and get the credentials and the learning and the expertise to be able to be very successful in that real estate industry, I think is something that should be quite encouraging for people. And I would absolutely encourage people to consider the CSP training.
Well, thank you. It's been wonderful seeing you again.
Likewise.
Remotely and live. And good luck with the rest of your business growth.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Bye-bye. Thanks for doing this.
You bet.